He did a lot of good.
They have found Medicaid fraud every time they've looked. Anyone who looks finds that you guys are not special. What is special is what he did with Palantir and opening up those databases. What is special is that it's the first time an amount of savings was predicted and promised, and you came nowhere close to it. The impact of those cuts, we'll see. But this guy just rigged the elections. He worked the immigration system. That's why he got through it, because he fraudulently got his way through.
Chris, how did he rig the election?
You don't hear what the
I thought we're not election deniers.
The Wisconsin election. So the Wisconsin election board, you don't believe them.
In today's video, Chris Cuomo absolutely obliterates Michael Knowles on News Nation's Cuomo. While supporters see Musk as a successful entrepreneur who's earned his place, Chris argues that no billionaire should be above scrutiny, especially when government contracts, political influence, and public accountability are all on the table. So let's dive in and watch how Chris Cuomo shuts down and silences Michael Knowles on News Nation's Cuomo.
In a 2009 deposition, Musk said he called the department chair 2 days into the semester, quit, then started Zip2, a company he later sold for $300 million. Every dollar, every ounce of power he has today goes back to that moment. So if MAGA just wants the law enforced, why does he get a pass? He's also the poster boy for the worst kind of privilege. If you're someone who believes that anyone here illegally is up to no good, then he's your poster boy. The Wisconsin Elections Commission, 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, found probable cause Musk violated election bribery law by offering $1 million to voters in that Wisconsin Supreme Court race. How did the Trump administration respond? By giving him multi-million-dollar contracts. How did he respond to those contracts? By pledging to give over $100 million to Republicans the next day. But it doesn't end there. Don't forget Doge. Gutted important programs, fell way, orders of magnitude short of what he promised to cut. And now there are suspicions that it was all a smokescreen for his real ambition, handing Palantir access to some of America's most sensitive personal data. IRS, Social Security, DHS, HHS. What did they do with it? We don't know. That kind of power concentrated in the hands of the few should concern everyone. So if Congress wants to investigate somebody who seems to be doing as much as they can to compromise American lives, they got a much better target than someone who helped us through a pandemic. They should go after the guy who questions whether there ever was one. Now, that's my case. What is the counter? Joining me now, one of Musk's biggest supporters, Daily Wire host Michael Knowles. Make your witness.
Chris, I loved that magnificent monologue. The problem is it was all a bunch of nonsense. So to your first point that Elon Musk is an illegal alien, it's a funny joke that they made at a conference, but one, if Elon Musk were an illegal alien, Democrats would love him, and they manifestly do not.
In a democracy, it shouldn't matter whether someone is a billionaire CEO or an ordinary citizen. The same standards should apply across the board. When influential figures become deeply involved in politics while simultaneously benefiting from government relationships, it's reasonable to ask tough questions about transparency and potential conflicts of interest. One area that deserves attention is government contracting. Musk's companies have received billions of dollars in federal contracts over the years, particularly through NASA, the Department of Defense, and other agencies. Those contracts have unquestionably helped advance technologies like reusable rockets and satellite communications, but they also create a situation where private business interests and public policy become closely intertwined. That's exactly why oversight exists. It's not about punishing success. It's about making sure taxpayer dollars are being spent responsibly and without favoritism. There's also the growing concern over the concentration of data and technology. Companies involved in artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and government software now play a massive role in handling sensitive information. Whether it's Palantir, Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, or any other contractor. Americans should want strong safeguards around how personal data is accessed and protected. As AI becomes more powerful, questions about privacy, cybersecurity, and government oversight are becoming even more important than they were a decade ago. Another point worth considering is political influence through money. The Supreme Court's Citizens United decision dramatically expanded the role of independent political spending, allowing wealthy individuals and organizations to pour enormous sums into elections. That's not an issue unique to Elon Musk. It's a systemic problem that affects both parties. When a handful of billionaires can spend tens or hundreds of millions of dollars to shape campaigns, it's understandable why many Americans worry that ordinary voters are losing influence.
Second of all, he came here legally in 1995 to be a student. He dropped out eventually out of Stanford, and
eventually.
He was able to. No, he did work at it. He did drop out eventually. He took classes at Stanford, then he dropped out.
No, he dropped out
and then
immediately,
he was able to work.
and the visa was contingent on attending. Go ahead.
But Chris, here's the key. Elon was able to work, as students are able to work when they are students here. Now, it's true, there is this kind of gray area, but they worked it all out within 18 months. So he had a worker visa within 18 months. If he had committed anything even resembling immigration fraud, he would not have become a U.S. citizen in 2002. When it comes to his government contracting career, don't forget he's been a government contractor since 2003. He's received $38 billion over the course of his 23-year contracting career. He's received it from Bush, from Obama, billions and billions of dollars under Obama, some under Trump as well. You ask what he got out of Doge, which was generally quite successful. It was roughly as successful as Al Gore's very similar program, roughly as successful as the Grace Commission under President Reagan, which was also run by a guy in the private sector. But regardless, what did he get out of those HHS files? I'll give you an answer. He found out that there was $14 billion annually in Medicaid fraud. This was covered by Daily Wire's own Luke Rosiak. You can go read about it on the DW website.
They have found,
so he did a lot of good.
found Medicaid fraud every time they've looked. Anyone who looks finds that you guys are not special. What is special is what he did with Palantir and opening up those databases. What is special is that it's the first time an amount of savings was predicted and promised, and you came nowhere close to it. The impact of those cuts, we'll see. But this guy just rigged the elections. He worked the immigration system. That's why he got through it, because he fraudulently got his way through.
Chris, how did he rig the election?
You don't hear what the
I thought we're not election deniers.
Wisconsin election. So the Wisconsin election board, you don't believe them?
Yeah, I haven't seen any federal cases against Elon Musk for election rigging.
Oh,
I've seen
so
his
if it's
spending
not a
on
federal
par
case, it didn't
below
happen?
Mike Bloomberg's, below Tom Steyer's, both Democrat donors. So Elon Musk has donated a lot to elections. That's great. But don't forget this idea that Elon Musk has made money on politics. Elon Musk got decimated in his businesses because he got involved with Doge in the campaign. The National Bureau of Economic Research says that Tesla sales were down by 83% because he got involved. That was tens of billions of dollars. We know that his X contribution to preserve free speech, he lost 75% on that.
It's also a crappy car.
He's lost a lot of money in politics.
It's also a crappy car. I had one. Okay, I think that's part of what's hurting Tesla also.
I can't help but notice a
saying.
lot of people loved buying those cars until he got into politics.
This guy got through an immigration system that if he weren't a rich white guy from South Africa, he may be getting dragged out of his car at a traffic stop and getting his ass beat with people like you applauding.
Chris, you're saying he's an African American, so I think it contradicts your, police stop narrative here. And regardless, he got through under Bill Clinton.
Now, equal treatment under the law is one of the core ideas behind the American legal system, and selective enforcement only fuels public distrust. There's also a broader issue about the relationship between government and powerful private companies. Elon Musk's businesses have undeniably produced major technological breakthroughs, but they've also benefited from billions of dollars in federal contracts and subsidies over the years. That's not unusual. Many defense and aerospace companies work closely with the government, but it does mean the public has every right to ask questions about oversight, transparency and potential conflicts of interest. That's exactly what congressional oversight is supposed to do. Another point worth considering is how political involvement changes public perception. CEOs have every right to participate in politics, but there's often a business cost that comes with becoming a highly partisan figure. We've seen similar situations before with executives whose political activism affected consumer behavior. Brand loyalty isn't just about the product anymore. Many consumers increasingly make purchasing decisions based on whether they identify with a company's leadership or values. The debate over campaign spending also extends far beyond Musk himself. Since the Citizens United decision, both Democratic and Republican mega donors have poured unprecedented amounts of money into elections, whether it's Elon Musk, Michael Bloomberg, George Soros, or any other billionaire. The larger concern is the growing influence that massive private wealth can have on public policy. Many Americans across the political spectrum believe that concentration of political spending deserves greater scrutiny. There's also the issue of public trust. When someone has influence in business, government contracting, artificial intelligence, social media, and electoral politics all at once, it's natural for people to ask whether enough safeguards exist. That doesn't automatically imply wrongdoing, it simply reflects the reality that concentrated power deserves closer oversight than ordinary circumstances. At the end of the day, this conversation shouldn't be about whether Elon Musk is a hero or a villain. It's about whether the same standards apply to everyone. Americans generally support innovation, entrepreneurship, and success, but they also expect accountability.